So people, watch the head move down and listen to the compression. So people, let's have a look how we can improve our shaft lean, compression and pureness of strike immediately. In this video, we've got the Tommy Fleetwood Yes drill. Can't wait to share that one with you. We've got some really different angles and clips. We're also going to be talking about feel, how to feel compression, how to feel this movement through the golf ball. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. World Class Golf Instruction. We're reaching lots of people. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up, guys. Right, let's get stuck into a really exciting video here. Can't wait to share this one with you. So people, when we're looking at really efficient golf swings, there's more happening in the background than what people really realize. We're going to take you through that now. When we look at this, really one of the secrets of the golf swing, looking at this trail wrist position and where we're situated here prior to impact, it's a great idea to have a look at really slow motion clips of great players, but not only that, to get in there and really have a look at what's really happening. And this is why we put together WorldClassGolf.com. Have a look at that website, guys, because it's just really improving so many players with the plan and moving forwards and working with facts. This position at the top of the swing, you can measure it, right? Now, if you're looking at creating compression, if you're looking at the averages of movement where great players are, the closer you get to these positions, the better you hit the golf ball. So people, one of the most important checkpoints in the swing here is when the left hand gets directly underneath the chin, the middle of the left hand. Now this just gives us a great guide, a gauge of where your entry into the golf ball is. And if you get it in a position like this, it just makes ball striking so much easier, compression, shaft lean, and really consistency of strike. And unfortunately, what we're seeing with many of the amateur players is this right wrist or this trail wrist is simply nowhere near this position. Let's zoom in now and have a look at that. Now you can see that the trail wrist from the amateur player here, there's no angle in it. And from here we have no shaft lean and the club scrapes along the ground. It makes ball striking really risky and difficult to repeat. This area, we're just seeing it time and time again with, unfortunately, so many players. So what we're going to do is have a look at how we can improve this position and really why millions and millions of people and golfers around the world are in this position. And the closer we get, just by simply improving this position by simply a few degrees, we can improve our ball striking really immediately. So with this player here that I measured, Dodge Kemmer from the Asian Tour, he got around about a 45-degree angle at the top of the swing. I'm going to show you a drill how to do that just in a second. But as he came down, the position was pretty much exactly the same. Moving down into impact, it's not like he's increased it by a massive amount coming down. So for a lot of you guys, by getting your backswing correct at the top, and you just hold on to this angle, all of a sudden you've got to build up your compression, your speed, your shaft lean, and get the club to essentially come in behind the hands where great players are. So people, obviously you can hear that sound, right? Now, my trail wrist there is in a 45-degree angle. Now, we're going to be technical here without being mechanical. In fact, we're going to use technology to create a feel and work with some facts here. Right, this right wrist angle is amazing, and this is this trail wrist now. HACKMOTION have done it. They've got the trail wrist angle, and we can get in there and have a look and feel and get feedback where these great players really are. Have a look at this. Right, up to the top, 47, 48 degrees. I'll just hold that coming down. Right, now when I lose this angle, in about 20 degrees, 25, we bring it back. And there's the hitting zone, and you can get a really good feel there. Now, this position, when we're bringing this, what we're seeing with so many people is they're losing their angles here. So guys, right, got a great drill here for you, and it's going to help set up a wonderful chain reaction on your swing so you don't have to think. It's going to help your wrist alignments. It helps create a great angle or a delivery into the golf ball. It also helps your tilts and your turns. It's going to create some body awareness for you. And I think that's the important message to get across, that when you get stuck into this drill, what do you actually feel? Where does it take your shoulders and where does it take your tilts in the backswing. You get this part right, and the rest of the swings a lot easier. So let's have a look at this drill, and I want you to try this and do it slowly at first. Probably one of the best drills you could ever do to create a great backswing. This is something we show people on World Class Golf Instruction, the deep to shallow swing style that's helping so many people. Now, what we're going to do, if you can imagine, there's a circle around my hands here. We're going to preset the hands. The important part, which I'll show you in a second, is the positioning of the hands, so that when we turn from here, what we're going to do, it's an automatic thing actually. We start to create some really good tilts and some turns. Now your backswing is going to be a little bit shorter than your real swing. It's not as dynamic, it's not in motion. But when you're doing or applying these practice swings, you're going to feel all sorts of things that then you can use when you hit. Pick your own feel so that you're not thinking too much. From this angle, people, this is how we do it. Presetting the hands, looking at the club head, you can see that club head is at 1 o'clock your side, 11 o'clock my side. Lead wrist is in a really flat position. The right wrist has a wonderful curve, and this, people, brings speed. This will help shallow out your plane, but also get that shaft lean and that compression you're after. Presetting, having a look. Now swing up to the top here and feel really what your hands are doing, what your body is doing, and where it's taking you. But because this position, when we come down, it really does bring us into a great place. So people, the important thing to notice when you're doing this drill is to keep your lead shoulder down. Now have a look at that number, 40 degrees. Okay, we're going to be technical here without being mechanical. You keep that lead shoulder down and you can pick up your angle in this trail wrist. A really, really important thing to notice. Now we've done videos lately. It's incredible how many of these PGA Tour players are around 40 degrees. And unfortunately the amateur golfers, are nowhere near these positions. They don't know they're doing it. We're seeing them around 25 degrees and having some issues. Now, if you really want to draw your lines and your angles, looking at shaft lean, and there's a couple of things I use personally. I think you have to have. One is live view, so you can draw your lines and the angles, and the other one is HACKMOTION, where it hooks up to your mobile phone, and you check your wrist alignments with you, and it does everything. You're putting, you're chipping. So a couple of things that are really important. I'll put a couple of discount codes there in the description box underneath. Guys, let's get stuck in the video, and then we'll have a look at the Tommy Fleetwood drill here and really get on the path to creating better shaft lean and better compression. Let's have a look at when we hit a golf ball now. This is how I would practice it if I was you. Preset, slowly move through the positions. Feel what your body is doing. Feel where that right hand is. Take a peek at your hands and then get in there and give it a hit. And you can feel all sorts of different movements, all sorts of sensations in your swing. Really is a great drill, one of the best. And you start to get some fantastic contact. Guys, I absolutely love this drill. Get stuck into it. It's a part of the deep to shallow swing style on WorldClassGolf.com. So people, right, statistically one of the best ball strikers in the world from tee to green, one of the best iron players that there is, and this compression movement downwards almost looks like he's saying yes as he moves down. The footwork is phenomenal, and we see this a lot with great ball strikers. Watch the toes push into the ground here. It's almost like pushing down on an accelerator as the head moves down, gripping the ground and moving downwards. Now this really helps for compression and shaft lean. Let's have a look at this yes move as we see the head moving like he's nodding, so we can get our knees to bend slightly as we rip into the golf ball. So people, right, let's have a look at this. This is the Tommy Fleetwood yes drill. And what we're going to do is just move in a way in the downswing we're actually dropping the head. I'm calling it the yes drill because it actually looks like he drops his head and he's saying yes. And it's just to get the feeling, to create the awareness of moving downwards. You've got to concentrate on the golf ball at the same time here, and so that you're really focusing in on the ball. The only two things you're thinking about is clean contact and dropping your head and almost saying yes on the way down. And it's a really good drill to be able to get some flex in your knees, and to help, really it's going to help you get some more shaft lean. We've seen this with Hovland also moving down, and it's a really, really good solid contact on that one. You will get used to it if you just keep using this drill. We know that the tour average is around 3 inches down. Okay, this is helping players get shaft lean. It's helping get the right flex in their knees, in and around impact, and also getting the correct hip tilts rather than being up and throwing away your angles. This is a really powerful move and will really help you get some shaft lean if you're focused in on the golf ball. All right, you got to stay focused in the golf ball. Move your head down and feel like you're saying yes as you drop your head down. You might get a couple just a tiny bit heavy, but people, it really is a great way for you guys to learn to sink slightly downwards and into impact. Get really good contact through the golf ball, making sure when you get up into your finish position that your chest is pointed up. That's the Tommy Fleetwood drill. That's the yes drill. And it really is a fantastic way to move down through the golf ball, getting your tilts correct, which can also help us turn much more effectively through the golf ball. Just guys, right, have a look at this, because this is really, really interesting. You remember those old magazines where you had like an old lady sitting in a chair with a cat on her lap, and on the other side of the page it was the same picture, but you had to find the mistakes? You remember those things? Right. Well, have a look at this, because it's pretty similar here. Have a look at these setup positions. Now, before is on the left side of the screen, and after is on the right side of the screen. And you can see what we've done. Now, in our tests, between 55 to 64% of the weight's on the lead foot when you're looking at mid to high irons with tour professionals. And so what I've done here, this is, he was complaining about hitting a little fat, thin, high on the face. He's not a bad player. But you can see when he gets into impact, see the room in here between the shoulder and the wall. Now, you're never going to get a lot of shaft lean when you have that. So a lot of the time, the reason I'm showing you this video is because if your setup's not right, you're going to struggle anyway. So that's around 4 degrees of shaft lean. You see that his head's sort of moved back. See how his head's up? It hasn't really moved down. So what I did here is I said, okay, I want you to just keep yourself centered. And I wanted him to have a feeling that he was getting a little heavy into this lead foot on the way down. We obviously put a little bit more weight left. And we got him just to push down a little bit more. And you can see that the head moved down just slightly. And then you see that he's got his top part of his hip also moving through the wall, and we get into impact. It's a different story. Right now, that's amazing, because the contact was heaps better. And we can see we got around 11 degrees of shaft lean, which is a large amount. That's fine. And as he hits the wall here with the left hand, he's got a compression line, and the head's moved down, and the contact was heaps better. So really interesting, people. Before you look at, changing something, making sure that you're looking at your setup, because your setup's always changing. This is something you have to maintain, a very important part for, consistent, clean contact. So people, when we're looking at the world's best players, the best ball strikers, and we're looking at the averages of movement, it's like a blueprint, if you will. It makes sense. Because once we get ourselves closer to these positions, the better we hit the golf ball. Now, when we have a look at this line drawn up over the golf ball, illustrating the finish line, we see every single time great players bringing the trail knee, the right knee, to the finish line before the hands do. And this is creating great shift and great separation. We know that we have lateral shift in the swing, 4 to 6 inches, and at times much more, but we've seen it with the best players of all time. This right ankle, this right knee, moving it effectively to get your shift across, which also helps to increase your power, your shaft lean, and your consistency of strike. Fortunately, what we're seeing with so many of the players out there is they're not understanding this part of the swing, where the right leg, we can measure this, getting closer down into impact. That's what I do with a lot of my students, is we draw a line down, and often we're seeing well under 70 degrees from the knee down to the ankle. But with the amateur players, we're seeing it often at times into the 80-degree area, and we're seeing it time and time again. So hi everyone, and welcome to World Class Golf Instruction, your swing analyst. I don't believe many people understand what this online training does, how effective that it is. It's simply the same as the YouTube videos, except with your swing on the screen. Your online swing analyst will go somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes, tailored drills and exercises, cutting edge information, a higher level of instruction. I'm doing it personally at a cheaper price and getting you on the path of playing better golf. Now we've got Zoom calls, we have Skype calls, we have WhatsApp contact. You can ask as many questions as you like. It's your golf, it's important. I'm very passionate about online lessons. I've been teaching tour pros, top amateurs, juniors, higher handicap players, everybody around the world, people that are taking these online swing analyst lessons and that are involved in World Class Golf and the Masterclass series have been improving their games between 4 and 11 shots on average, and that's the honest truth. People get stuck into it. It's such an effective way to train. People don't realize what this swing analyst actually does. So guys, get on the platform, jump on there. I'm really looking forward to improving you, answering those unanswered questions and getting you on the path to playing your best golf.